important group of magazines that are published solely for the youth and by the youth. So allow me to welcome my guests in the studio tonight. We have Nehal Salah, the editor-in-chief of the best-selling magazines we were talking about, Marwan Dessouky, a writer and intern in the magazine, and Mona Basil, writer and intern as well. A very warm welcome to all of you.
Thank you very much.
So maybe at the beginning, before we actually go into the issue and discuss youth habits when it comes to reading, let's have a quick background about our guests tonight. Nehal, I know that you're basically the editor-in-chief, so you are in the highest rank in the magazine, but can you tell us a little bit a background, how you actually started this interest in a youth publication and how you got to be the editor-in-chief?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that the idea of Teen Stuff was more of a vision for Manal al-Mahdi. She felt that we need something different, something complementary to our schools. Schools are very much focusing on studying, on reciting, and completely neglecting the creative side of the student. And she felt that the talents grow and die without being noticed. So she said, I have to establish something that can harbor and nurture that kind of talents. So she opened Teen Stuff, and she said, this is a place and a space for teens, and only teens, to write and voice their concerns and interests. And this is the space where they talk and we listen. Later on, it took different higher dimensions. They should not only express themselves in writing, they should express themselves in every possible way. Mm-hmm. So, particularly...
So that was basically the vision,
yes,
from founding such a magazine,
yes,
as a leeway for youth to express everything about them.
Exactly.
Excellent. So we have also members of the youth who are actually participating in this magazine. So Marwan, first, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you.
Yes, my name is Marwan Dessouky, like you said. I'm currently in my third year in college. And I always wanted to find a way to express my opinion in something, and like to write and to make my opinion get to many people. And actually, Teen Stuff helped me to find this place where I can express my opinion and nurture it even more.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. What about you, Mona? What's your background?
I'm Mona Basil, as you said as well, and I'm still at school right now. I'm studying IGCSE. And basically what got me into the magazine was that I've always loved writing. So, and when I was young, I always wrote comprehensions and stuff, compositions I mean, and teachers would always just compliment me on how they loved them. So when my friends told me about the mag, I just decided to join, and that's how it happened. So.
Excellent. Okay, and we know that you already got, such young writers already have fans who are always complimenting their writings, as Mona just told us. So Nehal, back to you. So when was this magazine founded, this lovely idea? When did it come into reality?
Well, Teen Stuff stepping into its 13th year next year, so it's becoming a teen itself.
Oh, 13, yeah. That's a lovely age.
Yeah, yeah.
How many are you? How many young ones are working to make this magazine come out?
Well, our family inside, the writers themselves, they're 40, okay, and the administration is like 20. Mm-hmm. So we're a very small, close, cozy family. Yeah.
And do you have specific criteria for the young writers to join in your team?
Definitely, we reach out to all youth and young adults. Whenever we find someone who has a vision and he has the readiness to impart this vision, we help him to do so. So we actually don't just give him a space to write and voice whatever ideas he has. We help him to come out with new ideas, to think out of the box, and to put them down into paper in order to share with more teens all over Egypt. However, the criteria is, do you have the desire? If you have the desire and you have a vision, we're there for him, we help him, we shape it, and we give him the space to do so.
Excellent. So Marwan, you've had this vision, but we'd like to know, how did you know about this magazine in particular and came to be part of its writers team?
Well, actually my sister always had a copy of this magazine, and I always wondered what it's like to write in this magazine. And last summer, a friend of mine told me that he writes to Teen Stuff, and he he expresses his opinion, and I wanted to experience that. I wanted to make that happen. So I told him, how did you do it? Where did you go? And he told me everything I needed to know. And I went and I applied, and they accepted me.
Was it the same case for you, Mana? I mean, did you just go for an application and go follow this process?
Actually, it wasn't quite the same, because I sent an article before even applying, because I didn't even know that I could actually apply and be a writer. I just thought people sent articles randomly. So I sent one, and the supervisor, she emailed me back, and she said that she loved my style, and she told me to drop by, and I kept postponing it because I was busy. But after a while, in the summer, last summer, I just decided to go, and she told me to fill out an application, because I wrote already 2 articles there at that time, so it was obligatory actually. And after that, I just became so interested in it, and so I just decided to go there on a regular basis and be a full-time writer there.
So Mona, do you still remember what was the very first topic you tackled?
Actually, yes, the very first topic I tackled, I was talking about my school, because I had problems at school when I didn't have a lot of friends and stuff. And like he said, I wanted to let people know that they should know what I think about it, because people always see it from other people's point of view. They see, oh look, this is the girl that sits alone, no one knows what's going on in her mind. So I basically wrote an article to them. It was called My Corrupted School, and it was talking about how unfair it was for them to just judge me without even knowing me, because I'm a very shy person, I don't talk a lot. So they just assumed that I'm arrogant. And so everyone just decided not to talk to me, and I'm shy, so I couldn't just approach anyone and go like, hi, nice to meet you. So basically that's what I wrote about, yeah.
That's excellent. Okay, we have our first caller. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Mohammed.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, fine.
So, do you want to participate? Do you read youth magazines?
Yes, I read.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Okay, do you think that they really reflect what you think today?
Sorry, can you repeat your question, please?
Do you think that the youth magazines reflect how the young generation really think its own vision?
Yes, I really think that, and I was calling you to tell you my opinion about this. First of all, I want to say hi to Marwan. Marwan, hi, Mohammed Yusri. Hi to Mona.
Hi.
Okay, first of all, I want to say that this is a great show tonight, and I want to thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Mohammed. Okay, we didn't get to learn much of his opinion, but it looks like he's a friend.
But he said hi, right?
Yes, that's enough.
That's good.
Okay, good enough for now. So you were discussing a very important personal issue that actually troubled you deep inside, and this is quite interesting. For the topics are definitely varied, and I would like to know, do you also have guidelines for what to include in the magazine, or is it like open for anyone to express any point of view they want to discuss?
Okay, we have 2 streams: the inside writers and the fans who send articles randomly. The inside writers, we have regular meetings every month. We have a grand meeting twice a month, and we discuss every single thing. We have the magazine is has different sections. Each section is focusing on a certain topic, on a certain area. And then in this grand meeting, all sections get together. They discuss how the chemistry of the whole issue next month would come out. And we discuss everything. We have reached, actually they have convinced us that there are no taboos. Okay, fine. Fine, there are no taboos.
Who convinced you? The youth themselves?
Yeah.
That's excellent.
You said something in the beginning when you said that I'm, the senior and the top. Actually, no.
It's not true?
It's virtually I am, but actually it's them, because they said, okay, let's say you're teaching us to express ourselves, then there shouldn't be any taboos. It's about how we express it. So I said, yes, you're right, you're correct. Okay, fine. You want to talk about religion, you want to talk about politics, you want to talk about economics, you have the right, but let's agree that we have to come out with the right style. And this is what we discuss during meetings. Okay, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? Let's discuss this in this way. Let's make this in a form of article. Let's do this as a feature, and so on and so forth.
So it's how the idea is portrayed, but there's no taboos on with whichever topic they decide to publish?
No.
Excellent. Okay, Marwan would like to know, when you started off with the magazine, what was the thing you read about it? I mean, I know it was your sister's copy, but again, what was the thing that attracted you the most to this magazine?
Well, actually, that anyone can write in it, that actually attracted me. Because I always wanted to write something, but I didn't know how. I always thought that you have to have like a proper education in a certain way, like you have to be a professional writer, and that really depressed me. But I wanted to write something. So when I found that anyone can write in this magazine, I actually applied and I wrote my first article.
So actually with the application you attached an article already,
Yes,
an example
yes.
of what you can do.
Yes, to see how I can write.
Okay, but this, I mean, this as a prerequisite for that step, you should be able to write and make a nice composition, correct?
Yes, but actually it's not about writing, it's about expressing your opinion. To make your opinion heard and make everyone listen and see your problems, or even see what you're interested in. And that actually helped me a lot.
Excellent. Do you remember, I mean, I'm going to ask you the same question. What was the first thing you've discussed in your article?
Actually, it was, I think it was Tech Talk. It was a section about technology, and I found that many people will get interested in this department, so I wrote in it an article.
Excellent. Okay, and as you know, we are going live, and you can always contact us on 25794828, and we have another caller. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening to you, sir.
Hi, Miss Smith.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine, very well, thank you.
My question is, can you be happier and healthier?
Can you be happier?
Can you be happier and healthier for positive of from sports and reading magazines and this and that?
So, well, so what you want is how you can be have a better mood when you read the magazine.
Yes, because when we read magazines, we know some more things and this and that.
Okay, I hope.
We learn more things.
You want to see more teens?
We learn more things when we read magazines.
Okay.
Okay, okay. We're gonna try and answer your question. Thank you very much, Ayman. So, Nehal, do you
Well, what I got is he's asking if reading these magazines helps him to be healthier and happier. I think to be able to read how other people, other people in the same age think and feel and go through every day is very healthy, because you get, if it's negative, you know that you're not the only one going through it. If it's positive, it inspires you. So yes, you can by reading the magazines, different magazines, you get to know other people's experiences, you get educated one way or another, inspired maybe. So yes, you can be healthier and thus happier. I do agree. I hope I got this right.
Okay, so basically, as you can see, Ayman, the answer is yes. Go for the magazine, and hopefully you will definitely feel better. And I guess it is true, because in a way, if you allow your reading to just concentrate on the regular newspapers, which are always dim with very sad news, then definitely your mood will never be better. That's a fact of life.
See, that's why we don't talk about politics and economics much.
It's not always that bright. Okay, since your magazine is actually not only focused on, I don't think it's actually focused on all the average youth, since it is published in English. So I would like to know from your own experience, Marwan and Mona, you are a certain category of society that goes and purchases such a magazine. Would you say that it's also targeting a certain segment of our society, Marwan?
No, it's not actually targeting a certain segment. It's targeting teens, and teens represent a very large segment of our society. So it actually targets a very large segment of our society, if that's what you mean.
Okay, what about you, Mona? Do you agree with him?
Yes, I do agree, and it's very important here in Egypt, because when the magazine first started, and I think till now, there was nothing that actually was directed to teens, just teens, because we didn't have a voice, and that was really strange, because actually teens are the future, because teens are the future doctors or engineers or architects, and we should have a voice, but we didn't have a voice. So that's what's important about the magazines, that it's targeting the future of Egypt. And it's important that we were happy and healthy, like Ayman said, and and that's what it's doing for us. So yeah, it's targeting a big.
Okay,
Can I
Marwan,
add something?
Oh, sure, of course.
Well, yes, definitely it's targeting. However, it's targeting a segment who are English speaking or English reading. But this magazine is found in every single library in all schools. And a lot of teachers give the magazines to their students in order to improve their English. So yes, we're targeting people who can and well able of their language, but at the same time it's targeting people who are trying to improve their language, who might be from a different category. So I think the segment goes deep.
So basically, you wouldn't say that it is especially targeting a particular segment. But again, the language is an issue. Wouldn't you say that?
I would say that definitely it is. That's why you might buy the magazine, but for different reasons.
Okay.
Okay.
For educational reasons,
Yes,
as you said,
yes.
to actually learn better.
They actually take the
English.
articles our teens write and they use it as a comprehension for their students. So, and their students get to see the mag and see the colors, the designs, the ideas, the way teens and the way the topics relate to them, and then they start buying it, even if they're not A class or B class.
Well, the fact that you know that this magazine is actually published all over Egypt, a lot of youth and especially in schools can actually access the information. Would this put some constraints on the ideas you want to portray, or you still feel completely free to express anything you want to say, Marwan?
Well, you can actually express anything because the teens can, they can always tell what they read to their parents, and that way we can reach the parents and we can write about something like a problem that happens in Egypt, and the teens will read about it, but the parents won't be interested to read about it, and this will make the information get to the parents better through the teens.
What about you? Do you think there should be specific characteristics in this magazine since it's targeting such a very sensitive age group?
Yeah, we definitely have to be careful when we're writing. Of course, we can write about anything, but we have to make sure that our tone is not too negative or too aggressive, or it's not about something that teens can suddenly just except if we're talking about something that's really controversial. We have to make sure that we have to let the reader know that we're pro it or against it, because unintentionally we can be against it and we're just talking like we're promoting it, and we can't notice. And so we'd be just making teens go through bad habits and stuff, and we don't want that. So when we write an article, we just have to read it over and over again to make sure that we're sending the right message.
Excellent. Okay. From your experience, Nehal, of indeed 13 years, that's a long time. What do you think would be the topics that interest the youth the most?
Well, I think surprisingly they are interested in many and diverse issues, more than we can think. I mean, first we thought that we should focus on how you guys feel, because the fast tempo of life now makes it very difficult and a challenge for parents to sit with their sons and daughters and know what's going on with their lives. So if I were a mother now, I would have definitely taken this magazine as a guide to see if my daughter or my son is going through the same thing, because I don't have the time enough to sit and see what's going on and analyze. So this is a very good opportunity for parents, as Marwan said. So I think they are interested in everything. They are interested in technology, in cars, in politics, in economics. They're interested in relationships. They're interested in imagination and coming up with their own stories. And they are very rich, and they are deeper than we think they are. And the point is, we don't sit with our teens a lot to know that they are capable of writing in everything, nearly everything.
Would you ever target a parent in your writings, Mona? I mean, would you relay a message to this older generation?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Because
have you done it before?
No, actually, not yet. But I'm really interested in that, because parents really have misconceptions about their daughters or their sons. And if, for example, if your teenage son or daughter is sitting in their room a lot and not going to sit with you and stuff, they automatically assume that they're smoking or that they're in a relationship behind their back, or something is wrong. And maybe that person is depressed and they're just too scared to talk to you. Maybe the person just needs some time alone and is going through a bad phase. It could be anything. And just the parents just have a lot of misconceptions, and that is a big issue because it causes problems. So yes, I would definitely write something just targeted to the parents, but I would have to make sure that they would actually read it.
Read it, exactly.
Yeah, because they have to know, because there are some things that we just can't tell them directly. And there are some things that they just have to see indirectly, because I can't just, if I'm depressed, I can't go to my mother and I'm depressed. Because especially here in Egypt, they don't acknowledge depression as something. They're just going to say, no, it's just 2 days and you're going to be fine. And a month later, I'm depressed. No, it's okay. Just eat something. I'm sure you're hungry. So basically, there are just some things that we have to send them through writing, because just talking does not work sometimes.
Would you say that you have the same problem? That you feel this or sense this generation gap with your parents?
Of course, because they're more older and they have more experience and they have a different view. We have problems, but they can see that they had the same problems, but at a different time. Now we have many different things that happen, television, internet, many things that will compromise you to many different things in life. And actually to find a way that you can see that many teens have the same problems or same issues or anything, that really helps.
I would like to take your input on that, Nehal, because basically you have a very unique type of youth working with you. They are very well exposed. They are very well. They have a very good way of expressing themselves, and still they do face the regular problems that every youth faces today in his own home and with his parents. Wouldn't you say that there's something fishy in there, or do you think it's a normal thing?
No, I think I'll tell you. I'll give you an example. Last month we had in our magazine an article written. I can't remember the name, but it was titled "A Message to My Father," and I got a phone call from a mother saying that she wants to reach the girl who wrote this article, and I asked her why, and she said, because this article has transformed my life with my son. And I asked her how, and she said that he was very violent with me, and he was really rough, and he didn't appreciate anything that I did. And when I read this article, I put a post-it on it, and I put it on his desk, and I asked him, please read. And after he read it, he came on crying to her, and he hugged her, and I was sorry, and I apologized for anything I've done.
Wow.
I just couldn't, I hung up with her, and I called the writer and I told her, you have transformed a life. Congratulations. This is the first evidence for you. It's very touching.
So we would like also to convey the content. I mean,
the
maybe
message,
to other parents.
Yeah, the message to my father, she's a teen who lost her father. And she felt that she didn't have enough time to express how much she loved him.
Okay.
And she kept saying all the stuff that she loved about him.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing indeed. So we'll have to move from this very emotional moment. Okay, we were still talking about the most interesting topics you think youth would be interested in. So I'd like to listen to the opinion of a male and a female in this point of view. So for you, Marwan, for instance, what would be the thing that interests you the most when you come to read as a reader, not as a writer?
Of course, as a male reader, I'll be interested in sports and garage and anything related to technology. Anything that's interesting, but anything else, I don't think I'll be interested. I'll be interested if the writer can convey me that message in a certain way.
Attractive headline.
Yes, attractive headline, a certain design. The writer is well known to have certain
different point of view.
Yeah, different point of views. That stuff. But as a male writer, I'll be interested in sports, technology.
And Marna, what about you? Catchy photos?
Actually, for some reason, I'm not really the typical girl. I mean, there is a section about, girls and fashion and stuff. I don't open it because I'll only open if it has face masks and stuff, healthy stuff. But I wouldn't actually open and look at the clothes. I'm interested more in people who are talking about their lives. I'm interested in reading about music a lot, and I'm interested in reading about stuff that I can relate to. For example, harassment. It's a problem that all girls in Egypt go through. So we have a lot of articles about harassment. So when I see those, I just definitely have to read them. I read stuff that I can relate to as a person, not as a female necessarily.
And that's an interesting point also that you've raised, harassment, because this was one of the campaigns that your magazine specifically helped to launch and support. So we'd like to know would like to know more about this campaign, how you dealt with it, and other campaigns that were launched under your umbrella. Yeah.
Well, I would say the most important campaign was the one done by the sister magazine, the Arabic magazine. It's called احترم نفسك. لسه فيك رجالة يا مصر. Respect yourself because there are still men. Okay. So the idea was, the campaign was directed to the society in order to be more positive and react whenever they see something negative happening.
Was that reflected on all levels? Anything that happens in society?
No,
or
harassment.
Specifically harassment. Okay.
Because it has been an issue lately,
Okay.
and we thought that it's not part of our culture, not part of our society, and thus we have to stand up and do something about it. And we did feel that the youth is the most powerful segment because it's the ready. It's always everybody's ready to accuse him or the youth of being the primary source of such a phenomenon.
It's not true?
It's not true.
It's not true.
They're part of it, but it doesn't only involve them. It involves other people. Because if he's the one who's committing it, there's a very wise old man on the side of the road seeing that and not doing anything about it.
And you think he's a culprit too?
Definitely. And this is exactly why the campaign was launched. The society
Very passive.
It's very passive. They have to be more proactive, active, and if this is the case, I think the whole issue will disappear.
Marwan, since you are the only one representing this side of the male side of society, what do you think about such a campaign? First of all, have you contributed with anything to this campaign?
Well, actually not yet because I'm still new to this intern and new to the magazine. But actually, I always wanted to contribute to this issue because I have a sister and I don't want to see her get harassed in the street or anyone else I know. It's disgusting.
Of course. So what do you think? I mean, what do you think would be the incentives for a guy to do that?
Fun. Some people see that as fun, but I don't see that as fun. They just don't know what are the consequences and the emotional consequences that can cause to a girl and anything else. They just do that because they think it's funny or fun, but they don't know what it can do to a girl or anything.
Have you ever been into a situation where you saw someone actually harassing a girl and decided to intervene, be it you alone or with a group of friends, and you think that what's happening is wrong and I have to help her out?
Actually, I haven't seen it in the street. I can see it, but it's like a guy is coming in a car and he says a comment on a girl and just walks away. That's it.
So there's no time to actually catch him?
Yeah. That's it.
What about you, Mona? Have you been into that situation before?
Oh, being harassed? Definitely. Definitely. All
What's
the
your
time.
reaction usually?
My reaction is I just ignore it and I just walk faster and I walk in the street and I'm like this. I never look up. It's caused me a lot of problems because at some point I just didn't know what to do because I would just stop and I know that the harasser was just going on with his life and he didn't care because it was just a second. But for me, I just stayed the entire day and I'm like, is there something wrong with my clothing? Am I giving him the wrong impression? But I just looked at myself and I'm like, no, I'm not the typical victim for something like this. I'm not asking him to harass me. He doesn't have an excuse. So basically it just really it made me really sad and it caused me a lot of emotional problems. So when the campaign was released, I was really, really relieved because finally someone was going to convey the message.
And you participated with your own point of view or your reflections on that?
Actually not yet either, but I have taken some stickers from the campaign and just like posted them around. But
Mona, you said at the beginning that you were a very shy and reserved personality. Do you think that getting involved in such a magazine, dealing with a whole bunch of other youth, expressing your point of view freely and writing, has this changed your character?
Definitely, absolutely. I can sense the changes that went through me as soon as I joined the magazine. Because at first, as I told you, I was really shy and I had no self-confidence whatsoever. And then after I joined the magazine, bit by bit, like the first day I was there, we had this game and we had a picture and each one was supposed to analyze what they saw in the picture because it wasn't really clear, so everyone had a different point of view. And they just told me to go up there in front of about 30 or 20 teens and say what I mean. So I was shaking because I'm not used to it at all. And I just started talking and I was stammering and I was like, and then afterwards, a few weeks later or a month later, I started talking to a big group of people as well, telling them about something, about an interview we had done. And I realized that I'm becoming more at ease with them. I can make eye contact more. I never used to make eye contact with people, and people would get really angry at me because they would think that I'm being rude, but I wasn't really being rude. I was just really shy. So being at the magazine really did help my personality a lot. It just showed me how to express myself without being aggressive. It showed me how to deal with my problems in a better way. It showed me how to communicate with people, and it showed me that people can relate to each other. You're never actually alone. There's always someone, at least one other person in the world going through exactly the same thing.
That's a lovely thing, support, I mean, at least internally. Would like to know, Nehal, this is a lovely exercise she mentioned, and this is one of those interpersonal skills that you're developing in those young youth. Are there other trainings, other activities that you pursue with this group of youth contributors to your magazine?
Definitely. First, there are the campaigns ongoing. Second, we have the talent show, which actually all our writers have contributed and rediscovered their own talents and faculties. They came out with sketches, comic sketches. They made choreography. They have wrote songs, composed music. So yes, we do encourage, of course, the trainings. We give them a lot of trainings in time management, leadership, team building.
And that's all sponsored by your
by
magazine?
the mag. They don't pay a penny in this. And
do you pay them? I mean, I'm sorry for this question, but I would like to know, do you pay them for the articles they write?
No.
That's a contribution.
No, that's a contribution, and this is part of a whole package. He's being trained, he's being well formed, and he's given a very good chance to write in the best-selling magazine. So we didn't want him to, if he wants to write for money, then when he finishes the school, our school, he can actually, our writers now are professionals in everywhere. All the newspapers, all the programs. So we have our writers everywhere around. So it's like, take your time, teach, learn, have the right experience, get the right training, and then launch yourself.
Excellent. Marwan, what do you think is the best added advantage, the thing you've gained the most out of working or getting involved with this magazine?
Finding a way to express my opinion. That's the best thing there is, Nani. I couldn't find a way to express any opinion because most teens today, they just neglect magazines. They always resort to internet or TV or anything else. They don't read magazines. But to find a way and actually find teens that read that magazine, that helped me a lot, Yani, to express my opinion.
But why do you think this magazine has succeeded in still attracting people to the printed material when, as you said, most of today's generation are more into the this realm of the internet and all the satellite issues?
Because they can relate to what's being written. Because teens write in that magazine and teens read it. So they can relate to different things in the magazine.
So what about you, Mona? Do you think that I mean, why are people encouraged to read this magazine?
Because our ideas are really creative. We're very creative and our ideas are very refreshing. And we can just grab a topic that everyone's talking about and we'll talk about it from our own point of view. And we'll just give it a whole new look. So people are actually really interested to read about it then. So it's basically how we convey the message, because some people can... It's all about the style. I mean, I can talk about school as education, and I'm going to be like, in a boring magazine, I'm going to be like, school is nice, we learn stuff, yay, that's it. And then in teen stuff, we're going to take it from different points of view, and we're going to think, what does the teacher think? What does the student feel when the teacher says this? What happens? So it's basically how you write, the style. If you have the catchy style, that's the criteria that all of the writing teens at Teen Stuff, they do, is that the criteria they have is that we know how to write something and make it look catchy, and a catchy title will definitely just hook you, and you're just going to keep reading because you don't want to stop, basically.
Okay, that's the opinion of the youth. Would like to know the opinion of the professional. How would you encourage youth today to go for the printed material, the published magazines?
Youth Today, the program, or
the printed material.
Okay, the printed material. I think it sells itself. I think people, when they see, well, for all those who are watching right now, Marwan and Mona, this is their first live program ever, and I'm seeing them doing a great job.
Great self-confidence indeed.
Great self-confidence, ability to express oneself. I can't tell you what went on with my first live interviews. So they're outstanding. So this is it. I think when they see people like Marwan and Mona, they definitely want to be like them. They definitely want to read what they've got to say. So I think we're always there in universities, in different universities events. We're always there in the models and different models that they do, because the models usually have the active people with vision and people who have the desire to, you know, communicate and relate to others. So we're always present where youth are, and we're making ourselves available. We have an open door policy. Then during summer, you can never set a foot inside the mag, because it's always filled with many either interns, either visitors. So I think we're doing what we can to reach out.
Excellent. And since you're actually the editor-in-chief of two magazines, both targeting youth, one in English and the other in Arabic, would like to know, are there differences between the two publications? I mean, since the one in Arabic probably is spreading out to a larger segment, would you say that there are issues, topics, styles, photos, differences in anything in the publication?
Well, the common between the both mags that they give a space for unprofessionals to become professionals and to write and to learn and to express. The difference between both mags that they're targeting different segments of youth. The Arabic magazine Kelimetna is targeting more the after the graduated students till 30 years old, and Teen Stuff targets from the 13th, sorry for mentioning the name, 13th till the 20th or 21st student age.
So basically, it's the age group that's where the difference.
Yes, that's the main difference between both magazines. But they're actually dealing with the topics that relate to both segments equally, and they are not professionals, so they're amateurs with a vision, with an opinion that wants to be voiced.
Excellent. Mona, you've mentioned that at the very beginning when you used to address your colleagues, and then you came back to tell them about one of the interviews you've had. I would like to know, what would you say is the most important interview you've held throughout your involvement with the magazine?
Like who it was with and stuff?
Yes.
It was with two members of the stand-up comedy festival called Arabs Gone Wild, Ronnie Khalil and Sharif Hidayat.
They were amazing.
Yeah, they were really funny. So they showed up to the magazine and we were just astonished.
They were the ones who came over.
Yeah.
You were not the one who asked to interview them?
Oh no, we did ask, and then they came over.
Okay, to conduct the interview.
Yeah. And it was amazing.
So that was pretty recent.
Yeah, that was really close.
Okay.
A few
so
weeks ago.
how did you get yourself prepared for such an interview?
I was a nervous wreck. I was jumping around before they came because I was so sure that I was going to do something embarrassing. I was going to forget what I'm going to say. I was going to lose my English or something. And I was just really nervous, but I just kept reading the questions and practicing, as stupid as it may sound, but I just kept practicing in front of a mirror. And I just started looking at my facial expressions, because sometimes without meaning it, I can look uninterested or passive or something, or aggressive, and I just didn't want to send the wrong message. So I just kept practicing, and before they came, I just decided to be calm. I had some water and I just sat with them and introduced myself, and basically after a while I just relaxed. And it was like I had known them for years after that, because they were really friendly.
They're easygoing.
Yeah.
Did you have any senior staff with you, or you conducted the interview all alone?
No, I wasn't all alone. I had 3 other teens with me. And we were supervised by the seniors to make sure that we were okay. But all 4 teens of us, we conducted the interview by ourselves, basically, I guess.
Did you go through any preparatory process? Like, for instance, you're going to interview this person. Do you like to go research on their background, read a little bit? What process do you follow?
In that interview specifically, I had to research them and I had to watch their videos to make sure I had to know something about them, because if I just went to them, and I had to research to make up the questions in the first place. But I just thought it was, even if I didn't have to prepare questions, it was good that I had to research them, because if I hadn't researched them, basically I would just I wouldn't know what I'm talking about, because they would probably say when we did what we did, and I would be like, no, what did you do? Then I would sound like I'm just ignorant. I'm interviewing someone that I don't know. So it's definitely something that we should do. We should research them really thoroughly.
Excellent. We have Islam online. Hello.
Yes, hello. How are you doing, Maisa?
I'm fine, thank you very much. It's a long time I haven't heard it from you.
I'm sorry, I didn't have a chance to call you from so many weeks. I'm sorry, but how's Tia, by the way?
Oh, she's fine, thank you very much.
Please say hello to her.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I don't want to waste your time. I think you're close now. I didn't have a chance to see the episode from the beginning, but I just want to say that magazines shouldn't influence our future, you know. Maybe we should take opinions, we should take information, but we shouldn't take it as a principle or as you know, a title to be you know, one of the main things to control our life. That's what I want to say. That's it.
Okay, I'm sorry, Sam. I didn't get the last part. Who's controlling the lives?
I say that magazines shouldn't control our life. We should, you know, take information. We should take ideas, not to draw our plans, not to draw our life. You know, that's all.
Okay, thank you very much, Islam. Thank you very much for calling. Okay, bye bye. So that's a lovely opinion indeed, and thank you very much for calling. As we were reviewing the experience of Mona, I would like to also learn from you, Marwan. What would you say was your most important piece of writing or interview conducted, if you've ever had any?
Well, actually, I haven't conducted any interview yet, but I wrote many articles and reviewed many articles that some teens wrote, and I actually find that some of them have really good opinions and they want to publish them. And that gave me a good insight on how stuff are going around.
Excellent.
We acted like the content supervisor for 2 whole days.
Wow. Okay, we're running short of time, but I would like you, Nehal, to very quickly tell us what, in your opinion, as the editor-in-chief of the magazine, would consider as the most important interview or issue tackled by the magazine, something that you're really proud of.
I'm proud, seriously, I'm not being diplomatic, but I'm proud every single month. Because I feel that I saw it from the beginning when they thought about it, and they created it and they perfected it.
Excellent.
So I'm proud every single issue came
That's
out.
a lovely thing to end up our program with. So allow me to thank my guests tonight, Nehal Salah, the editor-in-chief of the best-selling youth magazines in Egypt, Marwan Dusui, writer and intern, as well as Mona Basil, also writer and intern at the magazine. Thank you very much for being with us. And unfortunately, this wraps up this edition of Today's Youth. We sure hope that you will always have time to pick up this magazine and read it. It will definitely change your mood and your character. Until we meet again next Wednesday, have a lovely night.